Welcome to the Export Marketing and Preparing for the West Africa Connect trade event. My name is Karen Gibbs, and I am so happy to be working with you on this program of coaching videos and one-on-one coaching session. This is the second video in our series, the second coaching video in a series of 8 videos. And today we will talk about export marketing strategies and share some tips for success as you update your export marketing plan. So a successful export marketing strategy is built on the foundation of these 2 concepts: a clearly defined target market and a clearly identified target customer. Once these 2 factors are determined, it will help inform all other parts of your marketing strategy and marketing plan. So in this video, we will discuss how to define your brand and company using these 2 concepts. A target market is not just about geography. For example, selling to Europe or to the US, or even locally in your own country. But it's also about the position of your company and brand within that market or market niche. The most practical way for a global handmade fashion enterprise to define a target market is by price, quality, volume, design, and function. A clear and precise target market definition helps you identify the right type of customer and companies to sell to, and even the right buyer within that company. It helps you identify the right trade shows to exhibit in and the right location maybe within a trade show, and helps you understand what market research resources you can use to stay on top of trends and market requirements. So we will define your target market by using these 2 concepts: market pyramid and product categories. The market pyramid and product categories give you a vocabulary. They give you the words and terms to describe your target market and also to describe your brand and a company in a way that will be understood by the market. The market pyramid segments the market into 3 parts: luxury, mainstream, and mass market, by using 2 axes. The vertical axis measures price, quality, and brand, and the horizontal axis measures sales volume or production volume. In the luxury market, you have the highest prices, the highest quality, and the highest and most sophisticated brand identity. In the luxury market, customers are motivated by brand, designer name, and quality. Price is not a high priority in their purchase. They're willing to spend a lot of money. Small volumes make the products more exclusive and available to fewer people. So the luxury market has exclusive brands and designs, excellent quality, smaller quantities, and very high prices. The mainstream market is accessible to a much broader population of customers who care about design and quality, but also want convenience and reasonable prices. The mainstream market is defined by moderate prices, design and brand being important, quality being good, and the quantities being moderate to large. In the mass market, purchases are driven primarily by price and affordability. Quality and brand are not a priority. In the mass market, we see very low prices, very large quantities, low quality, and where design is less important. Here we show US stores and brands that fall into each category to give you an example of how this works in the market. Think about your own market. Do you see stores or marketplaces or brands that fall into each of these categories? Global handmade products and unique fashion brands, global fashion brands like yours, they exist in all segments of the market pyramid. All of the brands shown in this slide are partially or entirely made by hand internationally. You can see that artisan fashion and home brands exist in all segments. It's really up to you as an enterprise and brand to determine where you want to be positioned. And while global handmade and artisan brands exist in all categories, they generally compete the best in the mainstream market, and more specifically, in the upper portion of the mainstream market. This is where you find a balance of price, volume, and quality that generally matches handmade brands. In the luxury market, it's very hard to compete on quality. And in the mass market, it's very hard to compete on price and volumes. Where do you think you are positioned on this market pyramid? Don't worry if you're not sure. Through this program, we can do more research and discuss where you are best positioned. The other important way to position your company is by your product's function. Functional products have a higher perceived value than purely decorative products or souvenirs. Positioning a product by its function and by the functions that are popular in the target market helps build value. There are three main categories for global handmade products: home, fashion, and gift. And you are lucky, many of you listening into this, because you're very clearly positioned within the fashion category of products. This is really important because in my experience, there are very few customers and companies who go looking for, let's say, for example, Ghanaian apparel brands. Most companies out there are looking for apparel brands that might be made in Ghana. So you see this difference, that you really need to come forward first with the function of the product rather than where it's made. So how a product is used and its function really helps you position yourself in a target market. Global handmade products, small batch artisan products, like what you are all making, they exist in all product categories. However, it's very important not to spread yourself too thin. Don't try to sell in all three of these categories. Invest in one main category. This will help buyers understand an export offer, will help you organize your export collection, and will give a clear position that relates to how the market is structured. Each of these categories, home, fashion, and gift, has multiple subcategories. These subcategories can help you guide new product development and design by identifying product lines that will help you offer more selection to your customer. As you look at these categories in the home and fashion and gift, what product categories are you best positioned in? And what subcategories? Are there any categories that you might see adding to your collection? Many of you are so well positioned in the fashion category. Are there other categories within this fashion that you might be interested in adding? For example, footwear or bags or accessories. What product categories do you see most available in your own country? A frequently asked question that we hear is, can I be positioned in multiple product categories and multiple product segments in the marketing pyramid? Global businesses have limited marketing resources, limited time, and limited money. Investing those resources across too many categories and too many segments does not allow you to invest deeply enough to gain traction in the market. It slows down your progress and hinders your success. We recommend that you do not spread yourself too thin. Focus on one product category and one market segment. Staying focused leads to strategic investments of time and resources and helps you identify the shows and buyers, conduct market research, and structure your export collection. Next, we'll move to the target customer and identifying the right target customer for your business by distribution channel and type of company, and help you understand the expectations of your target customer. Target customer is different than the end consumer. The end consumer is the person at the end of the distribution chain who purchases and enjoys a product for their personal use. Target customer is the person or company you are transacting with, the person or company you are doing business with. Target customer is who you sell to. Let's explore this more. One of my favorite quotes is this: "The aim of marketing is to know and understand the customer so well, the product or service fits him and sells itself." The objective is not to think about selling your product. The objective is to sell the product that you think your customer will buy. Often, global enterprises are motivated by design or craftsmanship or impact, and we don't think enough about what the customer wants. Put yourself in your customer's shoes. Understand what they want, what their expectations are, how they work. This will help you sell to them. All buyers and sellers share universal expectations. For buyers, they expect the following things from global suppliers: timely and thorough communication within 24 or 48 hours, consistent good quality products, on-time delivery, orders shipped complete, safe and affordable shipping, accurate documentation and labeling. Sellers, that's you, have your own set of expectations. You want timely and thorough communication from your buyer. You want to be paid on time and in full. You want them to respect your brand and identity. And you want buyers to reorder the best-selling products that sell for them. All buyers and sellers have similar fears. And so often we get afraid of working that we don't move forward in the relationship. But when there's mutual understanding of expectations, it's easier and more successful to develop a relationship. Long-term sales result when a good relationship is formed. Focus on developing a relationship, understanding the expectations of the buyers, explaining your own expectations. Think about for a moment, what are your biggest fears in working with a new buyer, a new international buyer? Anything else you might add to this list? Now let's talk about distribution channels as it relates to your target customer. A distribution channel defines how a product gets from a fashion workshop to the end consumer. There are 3 common distribution channels for handmade products, whether it's apparel, home, or gift. These distribution channels exist both in domestic as well as export markets. The first channel, the one on the far left, is referred to as B2C, which stands for business to consumer, or DTC, direct to consumer. In this channel, you sell directly to the end consumer. This could take place online, in your workshop or store, or at a retail trade show. That is B2C. The next 2 channels are referred to as B2B, or business to business channels. In the middle channel, you, as the artisan exporter fashion brand, sell to a small or large retail store, and that retail store sells on to the end consumer. In the channel to the far right, you, as the artisan exporter fashion brand, sell to a wholesaler distributor. That wholesaler sells on to a retail store. That retail store sells on to the end consumer. As I said, these channels exist in both export markets and domestic markets. If we were talking about the domestic market, we would call this artisan exporter instead an artisan producer or a fashion producer or brand. In terms of target customer, the target customer is the entity that you are selling to in this channel. In the first channel on the far left, your target customer is the end consumer. In the middle channel, your target customer is a small store or a large store. In the channel on the far right, your target customer is the wholesaler. This is the company or the individual who you will transact with and do business with. Do you see all 3 of these channels in your own market? Which channel represents how your product gets to the end consumer? So it's really important for you to understand the specific expectations of your customer. We talked about the universal expectation of all customers. Now let's talk about the specific expectations for these 4 different types of customers: the end consumer, a small retail store, a large retail store, and a wholesale company. Each of these customer profiles has a different way of doing business and making purchases. Their expectations of suppliers differ based on 6 factors. Those are price terms, payment terms, quantities that they order, product offers and the types of collection you have, delivery times, and the length of the relationship, or how many times they will order from you. Let's review all 4 of these profiles. This is your target customer in the B2C, business to consumer, or DTC, direct to consumer channel. The end consumer. They expect a retail price, and very often they expect free shipping or nominal shipping fees. They pay by credit card. When they place an order, this is considered paid in advance, which we will be discussing further in the distribution and costing and pricing section. End consumer will generally buy a small order, maybe 1 or 2 pieces of your collection, and spend anywhere from 25 to 100 US dollars. They want to buy your brand. They want your label on their product. They want to hear your story. They expect quick delivery, usually within 1 to 10 days, which means you need inventory on hand. So the product has to already be made, or in a warehouse close to them so that you can get it to them quickly. In terms of the length of the relationship, generally these customers will just buy from you once or twice. Sometimes you can develop a longer term relationship. So smaller orders, quick delivery, pay by credit card. Another thing to mention is, at least for US customers, they expect to be able to return products if they don't fit, or if they're not exactly what they wanted. So you'll have to have a way to be able to accept returns. You're most likely to meet this end consumer online, at a retail show, or maybe visiting your workshop or store. This is the second customer profile, a small retail store. Small retail stores might include online stores, museum stores, fair trade stores, or galleries. Small retail stores normally buy products from wholesalers and distributors in their own country. So they're accustomed to wholesale prices or landed prices, which means shipping from a warehouse located in their own country or with the international shipping costs included. An increasing number of small retail stores are buying from overseas brands for fashion and home products. They are looking for more unique and special products, so they're becoming more familiar with importing and working with landed or export prices too. These buyers normally pay by credit card or net 30 when you ship the order to them, not when they place the order. Normally, they'll place an order somewhere between $250 and $1,000. This might represent an order of anywhere from, let's say, 10 to 50 pieces of your product, depending on the price. They want a branded product with a hang tag and a label and a story of your brand and you. They want the products labeled with your name. They normally expect delivery of an order within 3 to 6 weeks for the first order and 1 to 2 weeks for all reorders. In general, these stores will place many orders over and over again because they don't have big warehouses to store things. Small retail stores can change their collection very often in order to keep it interesting for their consumer. So the length of the relationship is short to medium. You're most likely to meet retail stores at wholesale trade shows or export trade shows, like the West Africa Connect event. Again, small retail stores are becoming increasingly interested in international brands like yours. So it's becoming increasingly a good target customer for many global fashion and handmade brands. Large retail stores are often the names most recognized in a target market. Can you name some of the examples of large retail stores in Europe or the United States? In the US, some of them include West Elm, Anthropologie, Target, Neiman Marcus, Pottery Barn, Free People, The Gap, Banana Republic. Large retail stores generally sell to the end consumer through multiple channels, including mail order catalogs, online, and in brick and mortar retail stores. While these stores are often the ones that global enterprises want to sell to or dream of selling to, they can be quite challenging to work with. They expect FOB or landed prices. They want to pay net 30 or net 60, which means they will pay you 30 to 60 days after they receive your products. They can place quite large size orders, 500 or more pieces, orders that might range anywhere from $5,000 to $50,000 or more. In terms of your product or offer, they do not want to purchase your brand. They generally want to do a private label or a co-branded product with you. Delivery time from the time they place the order to the time you ship is longer. It can be 3 months or more. In terms of the length of the relationship, it's generally medium to long. It takes a while to develop a relationship with large retail stores, but once you have that relationship, it's more likely to extend for several orders. One thing about retail stores is they can have very complex and strict rules with lots of fees involved if you don't follow the rules. So you're likely to meet large retail stores at export trade shows or through their sourcing agents, or perhaps they'll come to visit you in your country. The fourth profile of company is a wholesale company. This might be a brand or a distributor. Wholesale companies generally specialize in one product category: home or fashion or gift. They sell through trade shows, showrooms, sales reps, and online. The better wholesale companies create their own brand, and some also distribute other people's brands. They may have a direct-to-consumer brand channel, but most of them really focus on wholesale. So they are a wholesaler. They sell to other stores. Wholesale companies prefer FOB or ex-factory prices. They will generally help with production financing by offering a deposit when they place an order and pay the balance when they receive the goods. The size of the order they place may vary, but generally it will be at least $5,000 and can range up to $50,000 or more. We believe that a wholesale company has to purchase at least $25,000 a year from a supplier in order for the relationship to be profitable. In terms of your product offer, they are interested in private label or custom design. They want to understand your techniques and materials and motifs so that they can work with you to develop their own unique and exclusive product that is sold under their brand. Delivery time is longer, long enough that you can produce their order. It's usually 3 or more months. Wholesale companies have fewer suppliers than retail stores, and it takes longer to develop a relationship with a wholesale company. But once the relationship is formed and successful, it lasts a long time. One key to success is investing in product development with a wholesaler to continually develop new products. You would likely meet wholesalers at an export trade show or when they make a sourcing trip to your country. Here is a matrix that summarizes all of the different expectations and how each of these 4 profiles of companies do business. Keep this as a reference as we continue through the rest of our videos. And as you start to understand what kind of quantities, price terms, payment terms, product offer, and delivery you are able to offer. A question we hear often is that, can I sell to more than one type of customer profile? The answer is yes. However, you will need different types of prices, product, delivery, and marketing tools for each type of company. So be wary, you can quickly spread yourself too thin. Our recommendation is that you focus on one target profile of company, either end consumer, small retail store, large retail store, or wholesale company, and really develop your marketing strategy with that target customer in mind. Another question we hear is, what type of customer is best for my company? That's a question that only you can answer. However, in general, we have found that the B2B, business to business channels are more sustainable and profitable for artisan export companies and handmade fashion brands than the B2C or business to consumer channels. Selling to a small retailer, large retailer, or wholesale company is advised. Selling to the end consumer can be tricky in order to really make it sustainable and profitable in the long term. So, as we conclude this video, I'd like you to think of 3 things. 1, I'd like you to describe where your company is positioned on the market pyramid: luxury market, mainstream market, or mass market. Second, I'd like you to define what product category, home, fashion, or gift are your products positioned in, and list 1 to 3 subcategories where your products fit best. Third, I'd like you to define who is your target customer. Select one of these: end consumer, small retail store, large retail store, or wholesale company. What's the best target customer for your company based on what you've learned so far? Thank you so much. We look forward to you tuning into the next video and discussing these topics in more detail in our one-on-one consultations.